This week at the University of Rhode Island, an off-campus day party that turned into a catastrophe, leaving students injured.
Widespread cases of the flu. The season is here and one of the worst. We tell you how to prevent it from spreading throughout your dorm.
Adulting how-to, the steps to take in order to make your resume stand out from the pile.
And TEDx URI has been launched and it's right around the corner. We give you a sneak peek of the event.
All of that and more on this week's 5-cent Cigar Newscast. Hello everyone, I'm Madeline Schulte.
And I'm Jessica Pace. We're following a developing story on an off-campus day party that caused more damage than fun. The house back deck collapsed about 10 feet. Several students fell into the pit that led into the basement, totaling their fall to about 12 feet. Cops found several students who were screaming in pain. Some spent their night in the hospital. According to police reports, there were about 150 people at the party when the unexpected happened. Police say the deck was extremely rotted and appeared to be built in the 80s, so it was only a matter of time for when it would collapse. Student renters received a social host violation and was cited for a public nuisance warning.
A fever, coughing, aching, and nausea, you know what that means. The flu season is here. Today we learned that the flu is sporadic here in Rhode Island.
This year's flu season has been one of the worst in recent years, and according to the CDC, it hasn't reached its peak yet. 5-Cent Cigar's Margot Gagnon has tips on how to protect yourself and avoid getting sick.
January, more people sought care for flu-like illnesses than in any comparable period in nearly a decade. About 15% of Americans will catch the flu each year, and the CDC estimates that the flu has resulted in about 20 million illnesses each year in the United States since 2010. With this season's peak yet to happen, here are a few ways to help you avoid getting sick. Be sure to get your flu shot. Try to avoid close contact with sick people. Cover your nose and mouth when you sneeze. Be sure to wash your hands often and with soap and water. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Germs are easily spread this way. And make sure to disinfect surfaces and objects that may be contaminated with germs like the flu. Be sure to keep yourself healthy and safe this flu season. Margot Gagnon, 5-Cent Cigar News.
Domestic and dating violence goes beyond the signs of physical aspects like bruising, hitting, and punching. A program on campus called Please helps you see those warnings. Please, standing for Peers, Learning, Educating, and Supporting Everyone, is a program on campus designed to inform students on campus about unhealthy relationships. Here on Wednesday, the URI Please program had an escalation workshop where students learned about the cycle of dating violence and abusive relationships. Hannah Woodhouse, Assistant Coordinator of Violence Prevention and Advocacy Program and the Program Coordinator of Please, believes that learning about the warning signs of dating abuse is important.
There are lots of other warning signs. One of the biggest is emotional abuse. So oftentimes this could take the form of belittling or humiliating my partner, saying something mean to them, criticizing them for something that they did, and we often don't recognize those as negative kind of in the beginning because it's normalized, and oftentimes there'll be small behaviors at the beginning and escalate to much larger behaviors.
According to Woodhouse, students among the ages of 18 through 24 are at the highest risk of stalking and dating violence. Please provides a safe space where everyone is welcomed. You can find Please in the Women's Center on Upper College Road.
And this past week was a letdown for the New England fans. There were no late fourth quarter heroics from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
The quarterback was stripped, the Philadelphia Eagles recovered, and after a failed Hail Mary on the next Pats possession, Brady did something the football world isn't used to. He lost a big game that he had a chance to win late.
Despite the loss, URI still rioted. Check this out. Yes, that's the URI campus. The 41-33 loss had students very disappointed. The streets were flooded with students right after the game. Some jumped in ponds, others started fighting Eagles fans.
University police were already stationed before the riot even happened to ensure the chaos wouldn't cause too much disruption. The riot lasted about an hour until the rain made students cold and done.
Speaking of sports, Nikki Lattarulo is live in the studio with us for the latest Rhody Sports Corner.
Hello, Rhody fans, and welcome back to this week's Rhody Sports Corner. Let's start out by saying our men's basketball team is now ranked number 18 in the country. That's above University of North Carolina and Kentucky. This is the highest ranking the men's basketball team has ever had in the history of URI athletics. The team had 2 games on the road this past week. The first was at UMass, the Rams, of course, making it a super close game. They won that one 85-83. Jared Terrell was the leading scorer on the night, and he had 21 total points. 3 days later, the team headed down to VCU, where they absolutely crushed the Rams 81-68. Cyril Langevin reached his career high with 18 rebounds, along with 12 points, naming him the Midas Player of the Week. That performance helped the URI Rams continue their 15-game win streak, which is the longest since 1939. The Rams will return to the Ryan Center tomorrow to face Davidson. Women's basketball was home to face Davidson Wednesday morning, but unfortunately, the Rams could not contain the Wildcats as they lost 79-67. Davidson built a 6-point lead at the end of the first, and they never let up. Soon after, the team headed to the Bronx, where they faced Fordham. This one was not in the Rams' favor as well. They lost 76-64. But something to note, during that game, URI sophomore Nicole Jorgensen had 35 points. That's definitely something to celebrate. Talking about things to celebrate, the URI women's hockey team won the ECWHL Cup after sweeping Penn State 9-0 on Friday and 3-0 on Saturday. And these 2 shutouts gave their defense 120 scoreless minutes. Captains Casey McCormick and Michelle Monet were presented the game-winning trophy after the game. Men's hockey was also on the road this weekend to face NYU. In a 2-game series, the Rams were scoreless on Friday, falling 3-0. But on Saturday, Rhode Island came in hot, or cold, I should say, beating NYU by a score of 3-2. It was a very big week for URI athletics, but that's all we have for this week's Rhody Sports Corner. Live in the studio, I'm Nikki Lattarulo, 5 Cent Cigar Sports.
The Memorial Union is a home to a variety of convenient resources to accommodate the lives of busy college students. Some businesses come and go, but this woman has no plans of leaving anytime soon. 5 Cent Cigars' Kate Rogerson has more.
Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Advice from Brenda Salona, owner of Total Image Hair Salon.
I always loved my job.
January 18th marked 30 years that Salona has spent styling hair in the Memorial Union. Starting as a stylist and moving her way up to manager, she became owner of the salon in 2008. Specializing in men's cuts, Salona says the best part of her job is the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I love being on a college campus. I wouldn't change that for the world. It's the best, I think.
When she's not at Total Image Hair, Salona spends time giving back. She volunteers with the local Save a Lab rescue program, and on March 19th, she'll be shaving hair for the St. Baldrick's Foundation to help fight childhood cancer. Enthusiastic and passionate about what she does, Salona loves getting to know her clients, even admitting that maybe she talks too much while I sit in the chair.
I am a talker.
Salona invites the URI community to celebrate 30 years of service with her on Wednesday, February 14th with food and refreshments. In Kingston, Kate Rogerson, 5 Cent Cigar News.
Knowing how to be an adult is something people expect college students to know how to do. 5 Cent Cigar Sierra Bishop gives us the tips and tricks on how to stand out when applying to jobs.
Adulting. Something many young adults fear. As a college student, the pressures of having to find a job, put together a perfect resume, and get involved in absolutely everything can add a lot of pressure to any person. Ashley Foley, career and educational specialist here at URI, shares some of her tips and tricks to make the adulting job process a simple and smooth one.
We have a wonderful resource on our website, which is a learning module, and we call it Writing the Resume. It's a self-paced learning module. And then we encourage you to come in and sit down with your career education specialist for some of our drop-in hours here and get that looked over. Then we start to really take a look at how can we tailor your resume to be the best fit for your job.
With extracurricular activities being so important for students to get involved with, senior Kaylin Burns shares her story on how her university job has led her down a career path she is continuing to pursue past graduation.
And I think this position really has helped me because it's given me student involvement experience and experience with working in student affairs in general that a lot of students don't have, because I do get to do a lot more than if you just worked in an office, or if this was just like a general internship. I get treated a lot more like I already work at a college rather than being like an intern, so that's been pretty nice.
The Center for Career and Experiential Education, located on the first floor of Roosevelt Hall, wants students to come in, ask questions, and start getting involved.
We love to see students starting as early as freshman year, because students as early as freshman year can get involved. But students that can get more involved on campus, the better.
Having to adult and sit down to find a job can be scary, but with specialists like Ashley and all the others at the CCEE, it makes adulting not so bad after all. This is Sierra Bishop, 5 Cent Cigar News.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to sit down with an official of our school to get to know them on a more personal level? The 5 Cent Cigar News sat down with President David Dooley over coffee to discuss his position and love for URI.
Okay, so what do you like most about your job?
Meetings like this. Oh, I'm serious. I mean, the thing that's most fun for me, frankly, is to spend time with students and time with faculty, because it's the magic that happens when students and faculty get together that makes higher education what it is. It's the reason we're all here. All of us who work in administration, our job is really to do everything we can to help the students and faculty have all the resources that they need to succeed, and to do research, to do teaching, to learn, to prepare for their future. So when I get a chance to spend time either just sitting around and talking to faculty about what they're doing and what they love to do, and the work that they're carrying out, the classes that they're teaching, or get and sit with students and hear what they think and how much they're appreciating or how hard they're working, and taking advantage of the opportunities here at the University of Rhode Island, those are really the best parts of the job.
TEDx URI has been launched in the spirit of sharing ideas worth spreading for a TED-like experience on campus.
Chelsea Upon-Woodier is live in the studio with us for a sneak preview on the upcoming events. Chelsea?
Maddie and Jess, X marks the spot here at the University of Rhode Island as TEDx is heading to the Pope Wright Center for Chemistry and Forensic Science this weekend for TEDx URI. I spoke with organizer Dean Umbrianpour of the College of Business about his team of self-motivators and their preparation for the event.
The team that I have is the best team I ever worked with, because putting a TED presentation together is actually putting a production, and we just get the ball rolling.
A production it will be, with an applicant pool of 100, narrowed down to 14. Dean Umbrianpour says each speaker will contribute to the conversation of thinking big. Sophomore finalist Aria Mia Lamberti and her furry companion Ingrid will be bringing a voice to the voiceless.
As a student with a disability, I'm legally blind. There is a huge population of people, whether they're young girls with disabilities or otherwise, that is not taught or encouraged to use their voice. I think it can be much more powerful to say that everyone has a voice inside of them, everyone has something to offer.
Tickets to sit in on the event are sold out, but a live stream will be available on Saturday, February 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Live in the studio, Chelsea Upon-Woodier, 5 Cent Cigar News.
Thanks, Chelsea. That's all we have for you this week. For more on these stories and everything you need to know, visit RhodeyCigar.com.
Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Madeline Schulte.
And I'm Jessica Pace. Thanks for tuning in and watching your URI News Now. Have a great week, everyone.